It began with silence, a world hushed beneath the weight of ice. For tens of thousands of years, much of our planet lay frozen under miles-thick sheets of glacial ice, and in this frozen expanse, early humans found a way to live, adapt, and even thrive. This is the story of human life during the last ice age, a time when survival was a daily challenge, and the landscape was as wild and unforgiving as it was beautiful. Welcome to Tides of Memory, where the past isn't forgotten. My name is Tom. And today, we dive deeper into the last ice age. The last ice age, or the last glacial period, began around 115,000 years ago. It was not caused by a single event, but by a combination of long-term changes in Earth's orbit and tilt, known as Milankovitch cycles. These shifts reduced the amount of sunlight reaching the northern hemisphere, triggering a drop in global temperatures. Snow accumulated year after year, compacting into thick ice sheets that spread across continents. Glaciers advanced like slow giants, reshaping the land as they moved. In the middle of this icy world, humans endured. Most human activity during the Ice Age was centered around Africa, the Middle East, parts of Asia and southern Europe, regions less affected by the massive ice sheets but still deeply impacted by the cooler, drier climate. These areas became crucial refuges where humans could hunt, gather, and later migrate from. As the ice advanced, Homo sapiens moved into new territories, including Europe and eventually the Americas. One of the most important migration routes was the Bering Land Bridge, which connected Siberia and Alaska. This corridor, exposed by lower sea levels, allowed humans to cross into North America around 20,000 years ago. These early peoples were nomadic hunter-gatherers, following the massive herds that roamed the steppe-like tundras of the time. The world they lived in was filled with extraordinary creatures. Woolly mammoths grazed the frozen plains, their thick fur and layers of fat insulating them from the bitter cold. Herds of reindeer, bison and horses wandered across vast landscapes, while predators like saber-toothed cats and dire wolves lurked nearby. In South America, giant ground sloths and terror birds ruled the land. These animals were not just part of the scenery, they were central to human survival. Hunting these giants required skill, coordination, and tools. Humans crafted spears, stone blades, and later, bows. They hunted in groups, developing strategies that relied on understanding animal behavior and working together. But it wasn't all about survival. Evidence from archaeological sites shows that Ice Age people had rich cultural lives. In caves like those in Lascaux, France, they painted detailed scenes of animals, hunting, and perhaps spiritual visions. Carvings, jewelry, and musical instruments made of bone and ivory suggest a deep emotional and intellectual world. Daily life was harsh. People lived in tents made from animal hides or took shelter in caves. Fire was essential, not only for warmth but for cooking and protection. Clothing was made from hides and furs, carefully stitched together with bone needles. Communities were small and mobile, always on the move in search of food and safety. The Ice Age was not one long freeze. It fluctuated with brief periods of warming known as interstadials. These warmer times allowed animals and humans to expand their range, only to be pushed back again by renewed cold. Each shift reshaped the environment, forcing constant adaptation. Around 19,000 years ago, something began to change. Temperatures started to rise. Scientists believe this warming was triggered by a combination of changes in Earth's orbit and increasing levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The ice began to retreat, glaciers melted, feeding massive floods and raising sea levels, forests replaced tundras, animals migrated or went extinct. The megafauna that had sustained humans for generations began to disappear, possibly due to a mix of climate change and overhunting. For humans, this transformation was both a crisis and an opportunity. Old hunting grounds vanished beneath rising seas, but new lands opened up. The warming climate supported more plant life, and some human groups began to experiment with agriculture. They planted seeds, domesticated animals, and settled in one place. These changes laid the groundwork for the first permanent villages and eventually civilizations. The legacy of the Ice Age is still with us. Landscapes carved by glaciers, myths about great floods or endless winters, and even the genetic traces in our DNA all tell the story of those who lived through the cold. They were our ancestors, resilient, resourceful, and deeply connected to the rhythms of nature. When you walk across a stony field or stand in the shadow of a mountain, you are walking through their world. The Ice Age may be over, but the story of its people lives on in us. Listen closely, and you may still hear the crackle of fire in a frozen night, the hush of snow underfoot, and the distant call of mammoths echoing through the ages. Thank you for watching Tides of Memory. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical deep dives into the tides of history. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel for more content like this. And as always, stay curious.